Previously, in the dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party found themselves standing on the bloody dais in the nave of the heart of the mountain, surrounded by fallen drow and overwhelmed with the sounds of celebration from the Skulltakers. The goblins had successfully defended their home, with some assistance. But now the party had the task of figuring out what they would do in response to this attack from House Avrindar. Balrin spoke candidly about the threat that House Avrindar posed, and stated his belief that the party would need allies against the Drow House. And, while the party had many allies already, Balrin proffered his own house as a potential new one. House Freth was already at war with House Avrindar, already potentially in the party's debt, and Balrin suggested using Sult's new powers of communication to contact a member of House Freth in order to establish a meeting. The party started by contacting Dirzana Freth, the elite warrior they had freed in the Slither Swamp, but the communication ended with Dirzana being unable to aid the party, as she had been captured by the enemy on her journey home. The party then attempted to contact Erelal Freth, the matron mother of the house, directly. Instead, their communication was intercepted by Driven, Erelal's brother and archmage. Immediately afterward, Sult was willingly possessed by Erelal so the party could establish further contact. The Great Mother was pleasant, but somewhat foreboding. She invited the party to House Freth's seat of power on the 12th level of the dungeon, and directed the party to the proper magic gate that would take them there. The party agreed, though they emphasized they had other matters to attend to, and so would be unable to remain in the 12th level for long. So, after taking a short time to rest and interact with the Skulltakers, the party made their way to the Flagon Gate and stepped through. What awaited them within the veins of the mountain was a weaker version of that same being that had guided and protected them before. Once again, the party tried to figure out who they were dealing with, but the entity explained that magic kept them from telling the party who or what they were. But the being was clear. It believed the party to be the best chance of defeating the shadow under the mountain. And it was throwing in its lot with them. To try to aid them, it spoke to them a second prophecy. The bequest of Aelin Thaldar is shadow and madness. The weave knots around its tear as the dead god's legacy inches forward. Halaster forestalls that furthest realm, sealed in rebirth by 7 souls. But though the floodgates hold madness at bay, the inklings trickle through as the reservoir rises. Only unsealed can the wound in the weave be healed. Only unbound can the shadow be cleansed. But the way grows ever more barred as the breaker of barriers brings more to its side. The worm's 9 tongues corrupt with honeyed lies. The queen sits upon her glossy black throne, and the embers stoke the head of death to life. Astral raiders find new allies on old hunts, even while those old hunts go to extremes of their own. The stone delver calls claw and fang to do her bidding, while another delver of stone heeds a counsel of hate. That which makes awaits being unmade by its own creation, while the land of earth and sky weeps for its lost son. All the while, the shadow gathers deepest at dusk, as the light begins to fade. 7 are the key. Sever the 7 strings from the 8th, before the 9 are reborn in shadow. And that was it. The party found themselves drifting forward through the arcane passages. But now, the entity that had shielded them could no longer do so. And the shadow came for them, its hands streaking out to envelop Bones. And it took something from him, though the Tabaxi knew not what. then it was past, and the party emptied out into a strange cave where they found Balrin, Mossy, and 2 drow awaiting them. As they began to speak with their escort, members of the party began to notice the subtle movement of fingers, indicating the casting of spells, and ashes smelled brimstone. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.